Hey, this is Terry Bean, another exciting episode of Business Growth Time. Today's guest, Troy Ontko, interesting entrepreneur. We're going to talk to him about some of his preneurs that he's got going on. But with me, as always, is our good friend, lovely and talented Janet E. Johnson, where today the E stands for editing, because we were talking about editing just earlier. What do we think about editing, Janet E. Johnson?
We don't do a whole lot of editing because we believe in being authentic. So
not an
we
E
like
word.
Authenticity. No, it's not an E word, but
It's like any word. So awesome. Well, let me introduce our guest, Troy. Troy comes to us from our good friend of the show, Trish Brown, who is a PR agent extraordinaire. Troy, I just found out, lives in Michigan, or at least works in Michigan. We didn't really cover that, but not too far from the Go Blue, University of Michigan. Sorry, State. Sorry, Sparty. It's how it is sometimes. Troy's got a lot of experience. He had his first business was in the automobile dealership world, where he was selling opportunities for rebates, helping dealerships get better connected to their customers and save them some dough, which is always exciting. Got out of that, sold it, and probably did okay based on who he sold it to, but I'll let him cover that. Then got into the exciting world of craft beer, which I like craft beer quite a bit. Had a couple of different shops, one in Ann Arbor and one in Dexter. Actually still has the one in Dexter under the name Beer Grotto. And then currently is working in a space called, is it Skipstone? What is the name of it exactly, Troy?
One word, Skipstone.
Skipstone, which is a really cool video, and it sounds like a little bit of a marketing platform, but it's almost like a customer retention or a customer promotional platform is what it sounds like. So I'm excited to talk about that and learn a little bit more about that space. And then we'll talk about entrepreneurship, business development, and the trials and tribulations of both, because I think a lot of our audience can relate to trying to build something fantastic and what it feels like to smash your face on that wall every now and again. Sound good?
Yeah. Sounds great to me.
welcome.
Thank you, Janet. Nice to meet you both. Yes, I do live in Michigan, just outside Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's about 15 minutes out of town. So when there's a big game going on at U of M, I can kind of see the blimp make its circles over my farm while everybody else is at the stadium.
That's awesome. Are you west or south or north or
southwest?
Southwest. Okay.
Yeah, just a beautiful property out there, just where Michigan starts to get a little bit hilly and woods and green. I just love it. Just love it.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a nice area out there for sure. And it's not overly populated unless there's traffic coming by on game day, which is probably a little much.
Not too much, but I'm fortunate that I've got a beautiful, good sized lot, and it's on a paved road.
Oh,
so this is like Michigan gold, folks.
Out that way for sure. I got detoured off at 23 the other day, south of 94, basically in between the Ohio state line. That was about 10 miles north of the state line, and there's not a lot out there, man.
There was. If you were where you were at, you really couldn't get here from there without a real good knowledge of the back roads and the river raisin crossings and everything else.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's beautiful. How long have you been out there?
I've lived in Michigan since '95. I've lived in a lot of places in the country, and Michigan's the place I've lived the longest. It's really feeling like home.
Cool. Let's talk building a beer business. And then let's talk about what Skipstone is, because
The fun stuff first.
That's my core, right? Fun. I'm all fun. That's who I am.
So let's look at, first of all, I'll give you my philosophy in business. I believe that every business is at its core designed to solve a problem. Every business that's ever been has done nothing but solve a problem. Even radio stations. If you're driving to work alone and you're bored, back in the day, you had nobody to talk to. Wouldn't it be nice if you could listen to the radio while you drive? Even things like cup holders in cars were designed to solve problems.
True.
So what problem did I have with craft beer? I'd go to the local store here, and in Michigan, there were Myers, and they've got a wonderful selection of 50 different craft beers in this big old case, all nice and cold and frosty and ready for me to take home. But of course, the difference with craft beer is some of them cost like $12 for a 6-pack.
Right.
Where there's other beers you can buy 30 for like $3. But I don't like those beers as much as I like the $12 beer. So I buy one. I get home almost, take a drink of one, and realize I don't like the beer. Now I just spent $12 on a 6-pack of beer that I don't really care for. So you got to finish that one, but what do you do with the other 5? Well, you got to wait for Brother Dave to come over because he'll drink anything if it's free. So at the end of the day, I thought, well, let's look at Michigan, for example. Today, I'm probably old. I'm probably outdated. There's more than 220 craft breweries in the state of Michigan alone. And
we pump out a lot of beer here. No doubt.
Oh, yeah. And so what could I do? Open another craft brewery? Well, there's already hundreds of them. What people need is a way to know what beers they like, and the best way to do that is by tasting their beer before they buy it. So at the Beer Grotto, it's first of all a very upscale environment because people that like craft beer probably are wanting to go upscale. And we might have 6, 8, 10 IPAs. You can try all the different ones or several different ones. There's limits. And determine which one you like the best. Whether it's IPA, stout, ambers, you name it, we've got a good selection of everything. You can have a beer there and enjoy it there. Or if you want, you can, if you're on your way to somebody else's barbecue or you want to take some home to your own barbecue, you can fill up a couple growlers, 64 ounces, and take them home and have that maybe instead of a bottle of wine.
Nice.
But the point is that we solved the problem of why pay all this money for a beer you don't like, and the only way to tell what you like is by sampling it first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you say to me, you're going to like this beer, I don't know that that's true, right? Especially as craft beer continues to expand. I mean, in 30 years ago, you had, 18 or 20 different choices of beer. Today, you just mentioned there were 220 breweries in Michigan, and each of them brew at least 4 or 5 different kinds of beer. I mean, there's more types of beer than there are beer available 30 years ago, right?
Well, one of the problems I had with one of my guys at the Beer Grotto, that was not a problem, is he said, "Here, Troy, try this. You'll love it." And it was a grapefruit IPA. And it was okay, but you know what? I just want a non-cute IPA. He could hand me this grapefruit IPA and tell me he loved it, but no, I don't want the grapefruit part. I know people like it, and I've got no qualms with that, but for me, I just want a no-joke IPA. Mm-hmm. So that's a perfect example of what you said, and everybody is different. And if you look at the age we live in, compared to years ago or decades ago or not that long ago even, the world we live in is more craft. It is more customized and tailored to individual needs. There are websites where, you print up your own T-shirts and have them sent in. You don't have to go and buy a T-shirt with whatever other logos on it. We're able to do things with technology that customizes things to the tastes of the individual that we've never been able to do before. And it's really an exciting time because of that. And what else is really exciting is so many people appreciate the customization, the craft experience. There's a store near my house that basically sells craft pickles that are made a few miles from my home. And it's really neat that people can explore that sort of thing. Of course, you can't taste your pickles before you buy them. You got to buy them, take them home.
Nothing worse than getting a jar of stinky pickles, man.
I know. Now I got to start the pickle grotto.
I want the wine grotto. I'm the wine.
Well, we do serve wine at the Beer Grotto.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah, I would think that'd be a good one to get into too.
Well, that's another. It's another important aspect of business is when you do a business like the Beer Grotto, there's a lot of people that love craft beer, but let's say there are 6 people going to meet and 4 of them want craft beer, 1 wants spirits, and 1 wants wine. So we have boutique wine and craft spirits at the Beer Grotto too. Is that the focus of our business? No, But we don't want to eliminate the 4 craft beer drinkers because we can't satisfy or serve the person that likes the craft spirits or the person that likes the boutique wines. So always make sure in business that you're expanding your market, even in a customized way. Make sure that whatever you sell, you do so in a way that welcomes more and never restricts anybody.
So you have your core, but yet you have little mini expansions off of that. And I think any business can do that, but so that you're not saying no to that one specific person. The wine person, for instance. I mean, I'm the wine person, so it makes sense. So, and when you first talked about this, it's like, it didn't sound like a place I'd want to go because I do not like beer at all. You know what I mean? But then now that you've said that, now it invites me in. So there.
But your husband likes beer, right? So do you get stuck
Yeah,
having
but I'm not going to go for him.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Janet's not going. So you don't have to worry about it. That's the point, though, with business, is we have to make sure that we welcome everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like it.
And there may be some expansions on the concept, too, that I've got some ideas on how to expand that into. A community like Dexter is a smaller town. And one of the reasons why that was the first Beer Grotto, Ann Arbor Beer Grotto is very successful, and I sold that. But there's not that much to do with the store because it was a smaller location. The reason that I was excited to start in a town of Dexter, Michigan, was because there may be comparables to Ann Arbor, 5 or 6 different cities like Ann Arbor in Michigan. But in Dexter, there's hundreds of comparable towns. So if we can make something that really drives a great business decision and is an enhancement to the community of Dexter, we can expand on that hundreds of times within Michigan. So that's another important business thing. Yes, if you're going to start a clothing line, you've got to have a location on Fifth Avenue, but you'll probably not be able to make a business on Fifth Avenue. The business is going to come from all over the country or all over the world. So yes, you need to have the hallmark spots, but you're not really serving Fifth Avenue, are you?
Dexter makes Farmington seem big, just to frame that up.
Okay.
I'm in Farmington, Minnesota.
Right.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't think it's bigger than Farmington.
Yeah, no, I'm in Farmington, Minnesota.
She's in Farmington, Minnesota, which is
farmland.
Yeah, it's they're actually kind of the same town in a lot of ways, really.
Okay, but so there you go. If we could make a different, exciting, unique, and uplifting experience in Farmington, Minnesota, what's the business value of that?
Huge, because there's not much here.
Well, that's the point. And I started in a town that had, there are some nice restaurants in Dexter.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
We've got a couple. Mm-hmm.
But there was like 12 pizza places.
Oh, sure. Exactly. That sounds exactly.
One of the things that I find for business and advice that I would give any business person at all is don't try to improve on the current experience people have, or don't try to solely focus on the current things everybody else is doing. Look for what's missing.
It's a great tip.
Look for what you wish you had in your town, because if you wished you had this in your town, there's hundreds of other people that wish they had it in their town, and there's hundreds of towns that hundreds of people would love it in. And that's a good point. And looking at what's missing is actually what got me to Skipstone.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
So with Skipstone, I looked at the online world and based on my business with car rebates, where I started out helping dealers tell their customers all the rebates so they got a better deal, what you could combine with things, and do so quickly and confidently. It really made a difference on the showroom experience. And then I noticed that people were starting to advertise cars on the internet. So I made a system that incorporated the rebate amounts into new vehicle listings. So that if somebody was looking at a truck at dealer A and it was $35,000, and dealer B it was $35,000, and dealer C it was $35,000 minus $6,000 worth of rebates, today it's $29,000. Well, where are you going to buy your truck? Plus, it also helps the consumer compare. A $35,000 truck with a $6,000 rebate is the same price as a $33,000 truck with a $4,000 rebate. So it helped the consumer compare apples to apples. Now, that experience is now more and more integrated into the automotive world. In fact, that company was acquired by a division of autotrader.com. So it was pretty exciting, and it was really exciting to work with the folks at AutoTrader before and especially after the sale, because it gave me good insights into how big business runs. And that's important for when I want to sell to big businesses. But of course, small businesses, I don't want anybody with a small business to think that they're at a disadvantage compared to the big guys, because small business and entrepreneurs can be so nimble. You know, it's like we're out in one of the Great Lakes with a wave runner zipping around, and it's like the big businesses are like this big old barge where they got to plan ahead to turn. You know what I mean? So small businesses can have a really exciting place to make rapid changes, rapid responses, and really bob and weave with the market.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I work with both sizes in social media, and the larger ones, it can take us 6+ months to move. And with the little guys, or even like my own business, it's like we can just jump and you can just do it and try something and take that chance. Whereas it takes so many people to go through. And so I just completely understand what you're saying. And sometimes it's nicer the smaller can be better.
6 months versus 6 minutes. I mean, it's literally that big of a difference. So what I did with the rebates is I wouldn't have gone into putting rebates on the internet if other people were doing it. I knew that the rebate listings we used to have in the newspaper ads, but they weren't on the online part. So I looked at what we had on the offline world that the online world hasn't accommodated yet. And that's and here's and I hope we're not running out of time or anything, but this is what I've done with when I look at this, everything done on the online world. I don't care what it is. I've challenged people to tell me anything that we do online that we didn't at one time do offline. So think about that. Everything that's online used to be offline. My biggest challenge is dating sites. They didn't have dating sites offline. Well, actually, yeah, if you listen to the Pina Colada song, they had the personal section of the newspaper, where if you wanted to talk to somebody in that dating site, so to speak, you wrote a letter, sent it to the newspaper on Monday, they'd publish it on Tuesday, the person would read it, send a letter on Wednesday, they'd publish the reply on Thursday. So is the online world way better? Oh, absolutely. Much better, more scalable, faster, quicker, better in so many different ways. But we still had dating sites offline.
Oh, we did. I used to sell for one.
Okay, there you go.
And we had papers, like it was all indexed, and they'd go through like a library and go, and oh yeah, it was completely offline. Yep.
And travel lunch. It's just lunch.
Great Expectations. I think they went under, but I don't know.
But the point is that what I looked at with Skipstone was what we had in the offline world that the online world really hasn't accommodated yet. They've tried it maybe with live chat, but basically it was the personal conversation that one would have with with somebody before, during, or after the sale, or maybe even their own employees. We used to have one-on-one conversations with our customers at various stages because we'd walk into a place called a store, and there'd be people there that knew about the product, can help guide us through the process of which product was best for us. And they knew product knowledge like nobody's business. Not only would they tell us about the features of a product, but they'd tell us the benefits of those features. So we could help they would help us decide. I had a guy years ago that would help me with appliances. And there was the least expensive washer dryer set, and there was the most expensive washer dryer set. And you don't buy washing machines very often. But it was nice to have, so you never knew a lot about them. And especially what was new since 10 years before when you had to buy your last one. So it was nice to have somebody that could help me find that sweet spot, the one that wasn't so much more money, but it still had enough of the features, extra features that I liked, and also had that guy that would say, by the way, when you buy your new washing machine, make sure and buy new hoses for the washing machine because your old hoses are probably the age of your old washing machine. So it was nice having those people. So what I'm doing with Skipstone is making that personal connection scalable, like the internet is, like dating sites are scalable way more than the offline version, and making it accessible 24/7, 365 on demand and on any screen. And what I've done is I've taken our current videos that we might have that's like a quick product introduction and allowing a microphone button on the video player so that people can click the microphone and ask a question. So imagine you just bought a new grill, you've gotten it home, you're putting it together, you're at one of the last steps, which is putting the lid on, and you're having trouble putting the lid on. Now, if you go to current other mediums that have videos on how to put a grill together, you can say, how do I put my grill together? And you have to sit through a lot of video on all the steps up to putting the lid on. With Skipstone, when you open a video on how to put it together, you click the microphone button and say, I'm having trouble with the lid. And then a separate video designed just to walk you through putting the lid together would appear. And it also prevents another thing. It prevents a situation where you watch a 12-minute video and they never tell you how to put the lid on. And now you got to go watch another video. So
that's very interesting. So do you have to think through all the frequently asked questions and create content and video specifically for that, or how does that work? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. But there's another safety feature too. So basically, what you do is we sit down with companies and we speak to their customer support people if it's a customer support video, or their HR people if it's an HR type video, or the sales folks when it comes to sales. Well, in a lot of the sales products, especially like for cars, for example, there are whole manuals already designed that help salespeople walk through the features and benefits of their product. So we can start with those sales manuals they already have. If somebody hired new into customer support, there might be a manual on those questions that people answer on the phone and how they should be answered. So that's the place where we start, is in the documentation they already have. And then we say, okay, folks, forget the documentation is here. What questions do you hear that aren't covered? And they tell us. And then at the end of the day, and I'll give you an example, we did a Skipstone for Gary Johnson, Libertarian candidate for president, prior to the last election. It was our first real big implementation, and it was exciting what we learned. And so put yourself back to last year before the election. We were amazed. Our Skipstone has an analytics feature that it never tracks people's individual stuff, but it tells us what people are telling the brand. And we never knew that in the last presidential election, so many people would be asking about NASA. I never would have thought that would have been the hot topic. But a lot of people did ask about NASA, and about the first day in, you call up the folks at the Johnson campaign and said, hey, a lot of people are asking about NASA. I don't have any content. Could you please create some for me? A few hours later, they ship it in, we plug it in, and now we're serving all their customers. Or imagine how Weber Grill might, well, I shouldn't say them because maybe I'm sure they don't have any problems with this, how a grill company would be excited to find out, just because they're close to you in Chicago area, what if the grill company didn't know so many people were having problems putting the lid on the grill? Now they might even take their engineers and say, look, people are having trouble with this. How can we make it better? But they wouldn't know that if you didn't have a two-way conversation. So that's the other part of Skipstone that we bring to the online world better than others. Most places, like frequently asked questions, they give you a list of questions, click one. Well, what if yours isn't on there?
That's true.
There's no way of telling them other than maybe going through live chat. And people are hesitant to do the live chat. People surely don't want to call. So that's the whole concept behind Skipstone, is I'm taking something that we used to enjoy in the offline world and bringing it to the online world. And there's such huge opportunities in that respect. So,
and this gets embedded on the website, I take it.
Website, you can tweet a Skipstone, you can put it on your Facebook page, you can launch one off of a YouTube, or you could email it.
So if you're on Facebook, this is my world, Facebook marketing, so that's why I'm asking. So if you uploaded that video, it is two-way? I mean, they can actually click inside of Facebook, or do they have to
They open the
go
video.
to the website?
Nope, they open the video from Facebook.
Okay.
As a video player, it basically works on a link like other video, online video platforms. So you click the link to the Skipstone of your Facebook page, and it opens up, in essence, on our servers, our cloud servers.
Got it. Yep.
So when I say it's two-way as far as how you converse with it. We don't really take we don't take information from the user other than the questions that they're asking.
Sure.
So if what you do is there's a microphone button that you can click and say, what about NASA? Or you can type it in a text box just to the left of the microphone. By the way, we like closed captioning our information. Remember we talked about expanding your audience? Make sure that if it's inconvenient for somebody to listen to a video, you close caption it so that one could hear it in a loud situation. Part of our process is talking to a video. And a lot of these things are based on personal experience. Years ago when I had to travel a lot, I bought one of those language learning things. And I was flying so much everywhere, I just knew I was going to learn 7 languages in the first year. Well, the problem is they show you a picture of a baby, and for Spanish it says niño. So you have to say niño until you get it right 17 times before it lets you go to the next one. Imagine if you're sitting on a plane next to somebody who's trying to sleep and you're trying to talk Spanish into the computer. That didn't work. So we wanted to make sure Skipstone worked in a lot of situations. So situations where talking doesn't work, we type. You can type. You can also select from a pull-down list of all available questions. But it's really neat on a mobile device because you just click the microphone button and say it. For whatever reason, they put the I and the O too close together on on any keyboard. So when I say, what's this for? It ends up, what's this for? So it's a lot better to be able to type it. And that's what we do. So you've got to have both options.
That's interesting because, Janet, one of the things I've noticed on Facebook is the amount of videos that are showing up with closed caption, with text. And is it because people aren't able to just push play and listen to it, and so they want to make sure that they're not getting
the feed?
Not losing?
Yeah, because when the feed, we always suggest the captions on the videos on Facebook because people are going through the feed and it's automatically no sound unless they click. And, many times we talk about, I'll be, laying in bed at night going to, almost going to sleep, and I see a video that I want to turn on, but maybe my husband's already asleep. You don't want to turn it on, but you can still see everything because they have the closed captioning. A lot of people are getting used to that.
We've even got our closed captioning set up a step further, which, again, talking about expanding the audience. You can watch an English language video and see the closed captioning in Spanish or see the closed captioning in German.
Wow.
So basically, now these things are expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Obviously, if you're in Michigan, you don't want to pay for the German closed captioning for videos that are going to be seen predominantly in Michigan. But there's a lot of places in the country where you might want to have, it's okay, so it's technically subtitling. When people open the closed caption button, they can choose English or Spanish, for example. Some places around the country that you wouldn't expect to have an international audience, one of them is Bentonville, Arkansas, because Walmart's headquartered there. There are literally people there from all over the world. So one of the things we need to look at as we communicate better is to make sure we include different languages, because we want everybody to be our customer. Now, if I'm in some parts of the United States, I would likely just want to make separate videos in Spanish and then a separate video in English, because I'm going to have that high of a content of people that are speaking different languages. Or, there's a Chinatown in New York City and Little Italy. There are places where we might want to make separate content in different languages, but if that's not practical, we can always subtitle. And that's a great thing to consider, because imagine if you're competing against 5 or 6 other people for an audience. And even if your area or your market has 10% Spanish speakers, if you can do something that it can appeal better to this 10% of the market, that could be a huge swing. Imagine if you're running for president and you find out that 6% of the people are asking about NASA, and you know it before your competitor, and all of a sudden you work that into a speech or a press conference or a Facebook post or a tweet. How much of a game changer that can be for your business. And, looking at elections where so many of them are a percent thereabouts difference between one versus another, or when people make buying decisions, sometimes it's really iffy between 2 folks. A little bit of a push can make a big difference in your business. And the way we grow our business is by serving our customers better.
Exactly.
Without a doubt. Very, very cool. Oh my goodness. So this product, you mentioned it's in multiple countries in the European Union?
It's patent pending in multiple countries in the European Union. So it's being launched in the United States. We're actually pretty far along in the patent process. It's looking pretty good. Okay. That's a whole big deal. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, imagine.
But
I bet.
So it's designed to be an international online video platform, and then what we call a conversational video platform. So basically the goal of a Skipstone is to replicate normal human conversation, to give you the access to the expert we used to enjoy in brick and mortar without having to go to the store and without having to worry that if you talk to him, he's going to try to get all your information before you go.
Got it.
You know
Makes
what I mean?
sense.
So all the benefits of the online world, make them available 24/7, 365, and allow you the opportunity to hear the product manufacturer's best reasons why their product's the best. And then you can, of course, compare that with other products that either offer a Skipstone or don't.
Got it.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's very cool. Very cool. So if we have somebody in the audience right now listening that has an interest in Skipstone, let's get the website again, and then any other great place to maybe get in touch with you as just as you choke.
I thought I was drinking water.
No worries. Oh, no.
So with Go Skipstone is the website. GoSkipstone.com. Go to GoSkipstone.com, click the info button, send a message, we'll get it.
Okay.
And it's a different thing. Okay, just to let you know, with Skipstone, it's not delivering the same content in a different way. I'm sorry, it could be delivering the same content in a different way, but where it's really special is when you can deliver new depths of content in a new way. And I'll give you an example. The new current way of saying that a hotel is pet friendly is to have a big list of different things, and it says pet friendly, a little checkbox. Okay, that's important for people that are traveling with their pet, but a lot of times that's not enough for them. They still want to call and say, okay, I see you're pet friendly. What are the rules? Is there a fee? Is it a cleanup fee? Is it a refundable deposit? Is there a size limit or a number of pets? Can I bring my potbelly pig? There's 1,000 questions that come off of pet friendly. So with Skipstone, you can do more than say you're pet friendly. People would click the microphone button and say, can I bring my little dog? Can I bring a cat? Can I bring my pot-bellied pig? All of those keywords then bring up the pet policy video. And the types of content we can deliver now are so much more rich than what we've been able to before. So the way I would recommend a hotel discuss their pet policy would be to start out by saying, we're really proud of our pet policy because we protect our guests who might have pet allergies while at the same time we welcome those who travel with their pets. Because of one thing, if somebody's asking a hotel, do you take dogs? Maybe they're asking that because they don't want to stay at a hotel that brings their dogs, where they allow dogs. Maybe they have pet allergies and they've had a bad experience before and they want to prevent that. So we protect our guests who might have pet allergies while at the same time welcoming our guests who travel with their pets. And then we can tell them how we do both. Video content. The rule of video content today is it must be short or no one will watch it.
Agree.
30 seconds, 60 seconds, 120 seconds is getting way too long, way outside the realm of what someone will watch. And I believe that the reason people watch video content for a shorter amount of time is because they're not interested in the content. But if pet policy is important to you and you have to make a 4-minute video to explain the pet policy, they're going to watch all 4 minutes to make sure, or at least until they get all the information they want. Or I did a video on my car, and one of the things I answered was, it's a 2-door sports car, if a car seat would fit in the back. So it took me about 18 seconds to tell them that a car seat would fit in the back. But then, wait a minute, there's lawyer stuff. There's 30 seconds of lawyer stuff after that. Well, the nice thing about Skipstone is you can include the 30% of lawyer stuff. Maybe people will watch it, maybe they don't, but you've done your job and you've included it. So
makes sense. Yeah. And this is getting to them exactly. So they have this question. They're much more likely to spend time watching the video than if they didn't have a specific, and you're getting to the heart of the matter of exactly what they're looking for. Versus on Facebook, you know, you got to say in the first 3 seconds, you know, what you're going to be talking about, and they'll just skip right over it because they're maybe not interested in that topic.
And it's so easy to keep people's attention when you have their interest.
Exactly.
Right. And how do you get their interest? You answer their question. How do you determine their question? You could use artificial intelligence to try to calculate what this person's question is going to be based on all kinds of funky stuff. Or you could just let them ask you. Just tell me what's important to you. And then, I mean, just imagine, again, it's what we used to have online. I walk into the washing machine store, say I need a new washing machine, and I'm worried about my septic tank because I live out 15 minutes southwest of Ann Arbor instead of right in town, and I want to make sure I get something that's going to be friendly for that. So right away, I walked in and I talked to the guy that I trust with my clients' purchases, and he helps steer me to the right direction. We can do that sort of thing with video now.
Huh. See, and people would much rather watch video. Now, not everyone, but the majority of the population would rather watch video than sit and read through a whole, you know, so that's where I can see this product definitely coming in handy.
And imagine this for the dating site. Imagine some of the awkward questions you get on the first date that you don't really want to spend your first date talking about, but you got to get them out of the way.
Yeah.
You can do that on video now beforehand.
Huh. Yeah, that's awesome.
So there's a million different ways that Skipstone can work, and I hope that as I talk about some of the things we've done with our product and the reasons why. I hope that helps people in every business, in whatever they're doing, think about ways they can maybe look at what they're doing and how they're promoting their product and how they can expand their market, how they can make sure that every time they look at a product or a service feature, that they can remember that there might be two sides of the coin. Water usage might be something that people are concerned with as it relates to ecology, but it also might be something that people out in the country that don't have as good of a septic service as they would wish they did, it might be a necessity for that too. Try to think of the different ways that this can help.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes your head kind of spin. I mean, it's made the things you've talked about, it kind of makes you think. I think the core thing is something that I always talk about too, is listening to your audience.
Yes.
This is really getting to listening to the audience. And I think no matter what business you're in, you need to listen to what your audience is saying. And the questions you think they might be asking aren't necessarily what they're thinking.
One of my LinkedIn posts from a year and a half ago or so, a long time ago, was we are bringing ears to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because the internet really doesn't have ears.
No. A lot of people are talking at people, but not listening.
They're pushing data. What we're doing is giving the consumer an opportunity to pull what they want to know.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. So I think that's a very key point. It definitely. So once again, tell us the website and we will wrap this up.
Go Skipstone, www.goskipstone.com. There's some examples of Skipstone. There's even one on the Beer Grotto.
Oh, cool.
Or that uses the Beer Grotto. So there's some examples there, and you can always reach out to us with whatever your first need is. And I mean, Skipstone can be such a wonderful thing when you need more salespeople to expand your sales efforts, but you haven't got the new sales yet, so it's hard to hire the new people to get the new sales. Skipstone might make your current sales force more efficient. There's a lot of different ways to use it. If you're having a lot of issues taking care of your customers, or if you just want to make sure you maintain customer loyalty, this is there's just a million different ways to use it.
Yeah. So I think the best thing to do would be contact you, ask the questions, and you'll get back with them on if it's a fit.
I'd love to talk to you. Thank you both very much. Great working with you. I love this.
Thank you.
I love your show.
Thank you so much for being a part of it, Troy. It was great to see you and learn more about what you're doing. Janet, where can they find us?
Well, we have a Facebook group, and that is businessgrowthtime.xyz. And then we also have approximately, 90-some past shows, and you can find that at Business Growth Time. I think we're getting close. Yes, we're getting close to that 100 mark. businessgrowthtime.com/podcast. And you can catch all the past podcasts. We have a lot of business ones, business tips, just similar to this one, that are a lot of business tips. And then we also teach some social media along the way.
Maybe we could take all those old episodes and organize them into a Skipstone so people could tell you here what podcasts they're interested in.
What they want.
And pull that bad boy up like that.
You guys see, there's so many uses, it sounds like.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much, Troy. Have a good one, you guys.
Bye, guys. Be good.